I know.
Welcome to Too Stupid for Web3. We're the show that tries to help you make sure you don't end up like me, too stupid to win. I am back after 2 weeks. Thank you, Shaq. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Mass, for holding down the fort the last 2 weeks. Really appreciate it. It's good to be back. It felt like a piece of me was missing not being here, but thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for
we're
trusting
glad
us.
we could do it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We actually had quite a bit of fun. It was pretty good.
Well, that's
We
good.
missed you, and it's like something was missing.
Yeah.
That we are honored that we got to carry the show in your absence.
Yeah, love it. And I brought it right back with Thunder with the inappropriate joke of the week that I won't share on the show. You got to be back today.
Please no. Please no. Please no.
Gotta be
Definitely
part
not.
of the pre-game. TML ruined my algorithm on all kinds of apps, but I'm not complaining. It's never been the same, but that's okay. But yet TML says the same thing about me that I did it to his. So it's still a debate who ruined whose.
I don't know.
Timestamp on the
Yeah, I know what
game
he's
info.
talking about. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Man, Upland had some announcements this week. It came out swinging.
Oops.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got a headache. Good stuff. It's a good headache. It's a good headache, but it was a lot in just one post. One post was just a lot, and it was multiple. So I can't wait to hear y'all opinions on everything.
I think they did a lot of hype to sneak something in, and I think it was like, hey, look over there, and then they do something over here. It's a sleight of hand. That's my initial thoughts there. So we'll definitely dive into that. Yeah, we got service structures announced. We have semi trucks and trailers, which are new things, and office structures and trade routes and neighborhood bonds and sparklet changes in the how you buy it. So a lot of stuff to jump into, but and we are wrapping up the frost season, or blossom frost.
Nope, Frost. Yep.
Frost. Blossom's
Frost.
next. I was thinking about what's next. So yep, wrapping up the frost. And Mass, how's the racing going with Frost?
Oh my goodness. We man, it was first of all, I just want to say we want to cap off probably one of the best seasons that we've had so far. We had a little bit of drama last week with a sudden track change. We had all kinds of stuff happening, but what's racing without a little bit of drama? So, it is what it is. But we have literally had probably one of the best seasons of racing that I can think of. We've had, just close calls. We've had people crashing into each other. We've had, I can't even tell you. It's been so much fun watching these guys out on the track. We've got a lot of new faces that have came up and made their way into the ranks, and maybe not necessarily made it to the finals, but that's okay. Lots of drama last week, as not only did we change tracks, but then we had a lot of shakeup on the leaderboard as well, which I thought was pretty wild. And if we take a quick look at it and just, we got the usual names up top: City Pigeon, Crowley, Batista up there in third place, hanging in there for the, not much change in those first three spots. Foreskin jumped up a couple of places to take over fourth place with a second place win, or a second place finish last week. We did end up switching over to the Northumberland track. So that created a bit of a challenge for these drivers, but some of them really came through really, really well. Crowley grabbing third place, Batista finishing fifth, left him in that third place position in overall. Quade 18 moved down a spot, along with Cal Trading Co. also moving down a spot. We had a couple of independents in there that made it to the finals. Glizzy World and Alejo both jumping up in the independent ranks. Akaproppy, he has had two amazing weeks. Week before last, He was able to finish in the third place position. Last week, he finished in 7th and was able to move up 3 spots to get into the finals for this week off of 2 back-to-back really good finishes, grabbing top 10s and a top 3. And then Betts 25 staying right where he was in that 11th place position. And then Chun also jumping up 3 positions to get into that number 12 spot ahead of some of the usual names that we see up there, which would be Funky Beats, JR Wheels, Wander 1976, JH 2271, Ja Rashad, a lot of names that didn't make it into the finals for Frost. So we're going to see a shakeup on the Genesis board as well. Moving over to that, as you can see, JH in that second place position right now, not getting any points. JR Wheels, 4th place, not getting any points. Ja Rashad in 6th, not getting any points. Wander in 8th, Ace in 9th, KO Ninja and Funky Beats all in that top 12, along with D6 not getting any points this season. So this is going to shake up quite a bit after tomorrow's race. So going to be pretty crazy. I can't wait to see it. This is where we are in the team finals. We're nowhere near finished with this. We got a whole nother season to go. They can't earn any points on this final race for the team board. But as you can see, Team Tug and Bet sitting in the first place position, Flow Riders in second, and then the AVG Agitators moving up 1 spot ahead of Gen X Racing to grab 3rd place. But only a few points ahead of Gen X. So it's the top 4 that are going to move on to that Genesis Series Team Championship anyway. This is where we are this week. This is a brutal track. We are on Lucille Raceway, taking a closer look at it. And there are a few little nooks and crannies in here that are just too small for me to highlight on the map. But there's one right before turn 4 that's a little hairy. So there's a lot of things going on with this track. Now, with that said, I firmly believe that the special edition cars have a little bit of an advantage on this track just simply because of all the straightaways. There's a ton of straightaways on this thing. There's a ton of places to boost. Historically, this track has a tendency to spread the drivers out a little bit. It's a long race. They're going to last about 6.5 minutes. So it's going to be a long race. But this track is tricky. We've seen people come back on this track to get in the top 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. And just a reminder, this is what we're playing for. We had a total prize purse this season of 7.5 million UPIX. Tomorrow's race, it is for 2.15 million of that purse. So it is a big race tomorrow, a lot on the line for these guys, not to mention a season championship, a historic 7th season championship for City Pigeon if he were to take the win tomorrow. Just a whole lot riding on this. This is where we are with the heats. City Pigeon, Batistu, Quade 18, Glizzy World, Alejo, and Betts in heat number 1. As you can see, all 4 Tug and Betts drivers made the top 12 and are racing tomorrow. 2 of them in heat number 1 and 2 of them in heat number 2 with Crowley, Foreskin, Cal Trading Co., Cruiserito, Acapropi, and Tune 307. This is basically an AVG versus the Tug guys. You've got 1 agitator in here and 2 of the from Team Flow Riders, along with Acapropi, the lone driver for Metaforce Racing in this one. But keep your eye out because Acapropi is going to be running a special edition car, along with Crawley running a special edition, City Pigeon running special editions. I do feel they have a 1 kilometer per hour advantage in their top speed. So setup is really going to be important in this race. Just going to be really, really cool to watch. So can't wait for it. I think heat number 2 is the strongest heat. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Make sure you check us out 2 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be a blast. I believe X1 is going to be joining us for the races, usually does for the finals. So it is just a ton of crazy stuff going on, and I can't wait to see it.
Very exciting. And I'll say it again. I always love how the Northumberland track finishes. You got to kind of slow down and around the turn, and then it's a finish. So it makes it interesting.
Right.
Makes it definitely interesting. I can't believe, though, we are on week 36 of service structures.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Week 36 of service structures. So that is definitely nine months of service structures. That the large library looks super cool. They got me, I'm gonna pay my $10 for it. Candy shop, at least I kind of did something. They did something different with the color scheme. Okay, and then they put the machines outside with so a little different. So they got me there. Tattoo studio, I'm just kind of like, meh.
Got it.
They got it there. But what are your thoughts on this week's service structures?
So my thought, of course, I get them all, so it doesn't really matter. But I want to just throw that into, man, did the construction hub slow down after the contest? Holy mollies. That went to a screeching halt. So that was a little disappointing, but other than that, I'm going to get them to have them. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, Tid, yeah, today is Buffalo Trace. It's here. Don't worry, buddy. It's here, buddy. No. What about you, Shaq?
I thought they were really great structures. The size of the library or whatever it is, it looked like some sort of palace in London, it's really cool. And then the pink candy shop, I thought was really cute. And it made it completely unique from the other structures they've put out. So I thought that was really neat. And I've been waiting for them to come out with a tattoo parlor. So I was excited to see that too. So yeah, no, a fantastic week for structures as far as I'm concerned.
I'll just have you build all my tattoo parlors and I'll use the construction hub.
Okay.
Right.
How long do we have to buy them? Because I haven't bought mine yet.
Next Wednesday.
Till Wednesday. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Coach, what about you?
I jumped out the window for the tattoo. I had to get that one. It was just dope. Now y'all talking about it, the candy shop. It's a little too sweet for me, if you catch my drift, right? But it's but you like that one. You like that one. But it is appealing, so I might go ahead and grab it. It didn't just it didn't scream Coach, right? It didn't give me the evergreen vibe, but we need a candy shop. Shout out to 50 Cent, the candy shop. And the library, the library, it's just not, I don't have a property big enough in Evergreen right now, but it's definitely dope. So I'll probably get that one too.
Oh yeah. No, they got me. So they got me, but will I buy it? Will I remember to buy it? That's the horror. I should probably do it after the show while I'm still here. And I haven't bought many lately, but they got me on the candy shop and the library. Now, we'll jump right into the big news for the week.
I've got to share a quick funny story.
Go for it, Shaq.
Share it.
When my little son was in kindergarten, and I didn't know this, but he tells the story now, and I'm just like, oh my God. He said that his teacher, she was asking the class what their favorite songs is, and he said it was The Candy Shop by 50 Cent because that's his mom's favorite song.
Ooh, Jack!
Ooh. Candy Shop. Go ahead. Sing the chorus, Shaq. Sing the chorus. Go ahead. Give it to us one time.
Not gonna happen.
I mean, but at that age, you don't know. When I was growing up, Little Red Corvette was big, and I loved Little Red Corvette. I thought it was about a car, and I was like, got older, and I was like, that is definitely not about a car. So I
What
get
about what about the song "Mary Jane" by Rick James? I thought it was a female at first.
it. There you go. That too.
Hmm.
So as kids, you don't get it. As kids, you
Speaking
don't
of
get it.
kindergarten, Boydern turned 5 years in Upland. So happy birthday, 5th anniversary to Boydern.
Woo!
Congrats, boy, Dorn. I just say, hey,
What most excites you about it? I had I can't figure out where my oh, there it is. There's the applause.
you've been away too long. You've been away too long.
It's been a while since I had to use the applause.
Just throwing it out there, since we're talking about significant dates. We are 4 weeks away from URL being 4 years old as well. So
Oh, wow.
so March 24th.
I was just
URL
saying in the
is
chat, I'm a racing fan now because your masterful recaps and everything being on here with you and just learning more.
What did you say,
More
Mass?
respect.
24th?
The 24th will be 4 years for the Ultimate Racing League.
That
And
is
that-
amazing.
And this was formed before there were even cars in Upland. Before the
Mhm.
first car was minted in Upland, there was the Ultimate Racing League.
Yep.
And honestly, at first I'm like, these guys are crazy. I'm like, there's not even cars. I was like, but now look at you. I like, and now look at where it's at. It's awesome.
Yep.
And but as soon as you got, as soon as we got cars and saw what you were doing, I'm like, yep, these guys laid it down and then had everything in the works ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the
wow.
evolution has just been phenomenal from where we started to where we are. Not just URL, but racing in general, where we started to where we are, the community. The first year we struggled to put 12 drivers on the tracks because not that many people owned cars. So it was, so it was, it really was a build up from nothing to what it is. So, the community and our sponsors and everybody that's been involved over the years, it's just been huge, and really can't thank everybody enough. You guys have all just been phenomenal in the growth of this dream.
Yeah, you had a dream and you guys made it grow.
We need visionaries like
And
you.
shout out to my boy Dak. He's out there somewhere listening, and big shout out and bless you, my friend.
Yeah, you guys really drove something there. Now, so the dev release they dropped, and they're just like, all right, let's throw a bunch of stuff out there. let's throw a 9-minute read out there. We're talking office structures. We're talking building bonds between neighborhoods. We're talking about getting into what strengthens a neighborhood's commerce score, commerce uppies and growing neighborhoods, trade routes, trailers, semi trucks, and then what I think they snuck under the rug was Sparklet Store update. But they're just like
at the bottom.
It was at the tail end of that, yes.
If we put this all the way at the end, maybe people are too excited about everything else and just kind of get bored and just kind of stop reading here.
I gotta be honest. I had to take it in 2 sittings.
Yeah.
And then I had to reread a couple of times just to make sure because they got me off the hook. They're like office structures. I'm like, okay, cool. We got office structures. But what got me was I beat that horse to death on the show 4 months by myself about, it was around the service structures. Have some UpX offerings and have some US dollar offerings. So I'm like, ooh, look at this. We have small office, large office, UpX. Then we have the office complex for $10 and office tower for $15. I'm like, this is what they should do with every service structure, or every service structure release. So I was excited. I'm like, yes, they listened. So I was excited about the office structures. And of course, I'm going to grab all three of them or all four of them just because. So with the office structures, Coach, what was your thoughts?
I love them. I love how they allowed us to utilize the UPIX and the fact that if you didn't have the money right now for the USD, they're unlimited, so you can come back when you do have the money. So I love the idea.
And I love that too. You can come back and purchase later. I do understand that now, since they created the construction hub, they want to have a balance. But still, even with those service structures that they roll out, they can make the service structures, they can model this too. Add another service
Hmm.
structure each week, two in UPIX, two in US dollars. Yes, I'm greedy. You finally did something that not you finally, you guys have done, Upland's done great things, but they did something that I was excited about, that I beat a dead horse about. And if they can transition this to the service structures, and that helps the construction hub because they need to run more contests, but that's a whole different point. Mass, what were your thoughts on the office units?
I thought it was a great. I love the office units. First of all, I think it's a great concept. I think it's going to be interesting to see the rest of it roll out. I'm pretty excited
Hmm.
to see the whole concept roll out. So yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. And Shaq.
Oh, wow. Well, this is like a move that I've been waiting for years. It
Hmm.
bonding between our node and other nodes is something that, I've long thought we should do because, it's just the nice thing to do. But finally now, Upland is incentivizing and rewarding and making it a key part of gameplay that the community work, with a cross community collaboration and friendship and, cooperation. And that is going to create these trade routes, which will become part of the basic algorithm every day when we open the census to see how our neighborhood is doing. A part of that algorithm is going to be this commerce score, which is not implemented yet. And so what we're doing right now is we're building these pathways and bonds that will become very important, I think, for our scores and for the amount of uppies we attract to our neighborhood. And, not to mention that it's going to give us a way to automatically send our vehicle out, essentially fishing for troves along the roadway. And, which is just a whole nother game loop. And I'm super excited. I could keep talking about it forever. I'll stop.
Yeah. Now, I did think also, I forgot to mention it in this article. They stated that at its core, Upland has always been about property ownership and development, and the system outlined here built on that foundation. So it's interesting that they went back to that statement, as much as we've seen the uppies and everything else going on. So they're still going back to the roots of what it was. I agree with you. The bonds between the neighborhoods. For years, I've always been pushing for the fact of you need to make people commit to a neighborhood. And this kind of makes you commit to a neighborhood, but it still incentivizes you to own properties in other neighborhoods. So, you can build stuff there, and you can work with the friends you develop there. So I like where this is moving. And I do like having new structures that look office style so you see these different styles, and you do need these little somebody just Boyden said that we need micro office buildings. I agree. Get a couple little corner ones that pop up, a little 2 or 3 story ones that can fit on a corner lot. But yeah.
Well, and maybe because City Pigeon points out correctly that the small office building, which is too big, but it only has 4 units. And so if we go even smaller than that, it'll probably be 1 unit. And that's a good point. But what Upland could do is make it a tiny footprint that somehow vertically has, a high score. Like, I don't know, but they need to do something for the small footprints of some of these old legacy neighborhoods.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. even that $10 one, they said the tower, the footprint is still kind of still wide for some of the,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Shackleton legacy neighborhoods. That so yeah, you need to do something. You never know; they might come up with a modular office. You never know.
I mean, you do have those strip mall style offices also too, you know, so that could
Hmm.
be something in the future too.
Yeah.
So the mutual bonds is interesting as you know, Shaq led into that, and it does the commerce score, which attracts more uppies, um, and it's about placing the. It also said that placing offices in your own neighborhood does not create bonds, so that is definitely something to pay attention to in making those multi neighborhood bonds while doing this.
Yeah,
Um,
I've had so many people reaching out to me in the last 48 hours about, because everybody know I'm in the Citadel neighborhood. That's where the cart museum is. That's where my home address is. It's a small neighborhood. There's only like 315 properties, of which I have 110, I think, or 107 or something. I don't know. I've got a third of the neighborhood. But I think it's really cool now because, like, literally, I don't promote the neighborhood. I don't really do a whole lot with it, other than I build it for myself just because I'm there, and I make my assets for myself for my own neighborhood. I did, if I sell some, great. If not, whatever. But it's cool because I've had a bunch of people that, hey, you want to do a trade prop? Let's build, let's do a bond.
Hmm.
And I'm like, so I've got like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of them going right now. And, it's really, uh, it's really had me, I've branched out to places that I just wasn't in before, or, or really didn't think about too much before that now I'm thinking about. So I think that's really cool that it, puts that kind of an aspect into the gameplay.
uh,
I agree with you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You was about to
no,
say
go
something?
ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
I agree with you, right? Because now it does give us an individual neighborhood versus neighborhood, but you know what? We have to build these trade routes and these bonds, so
Mm-hmm.
it's starting to have us to build collectively, right? So looking at it, even just properties, and you said it early in the last, segment we was just going over. Upland always goes back to it's a property layer, property game first. And Chef just said it. He's trading properties, even in Evergreen. Me and Shaq, we did something. We got a bond now. We shook hands, so we made something happen, and it is giving more, excuse me, neighborhoods value. Also,
Mm-hmm.
what I think it's going to do in the future now as well, it's going to give these map assets value as well, because now you have this office in this particular area. Why wouldn't you dress it up in Mass Chef's assets solely for his neighborhood? Why wouldn't you put some soil or some farming equipment in Evergreen, and vice in Creedmoor? Put some Creedmoor vibes, skeletons, and things of that nature on there. So I think it's going to stimulate the economy a little bit more than we think.
I agree. Yep.
Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and that's the other thing is you have the initial excitement about it now. How many people are following through? How many people are actually going to complete it to make those bonds happen too? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the other question that's out there. Are you making deals and your building completes and they back out, or or they just don't put as much as you put in to complete theirs? So a lot of different factors there.
Hmm.
That's true, but they'll be shooting themselves in the foot ultimately if they don't
Mm-hmm.
complete the bond.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're only hurting themselves. So, I mean, it's,
Oh yeah.
and I just have been going around and starting every office,
Hmm.
on already. I've got every bond that I set up, I've already got the office started. So then I can just go through them and finish them up when the spark is available. But now I'm just getting, that way you've got them all listed. You can't forget where they are. They're already, they're already in your Spark, list.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Now, are we good and ready to move on to trade routes?
I just wanted to comment that it's kind of interesting. Whereas I've been actually talking to other people and agreeing to make the bond and, making sure we each have a property and confirming that we've started the build. There are some people that are, just building. And so by looking through the tool that Laban created on Uplytics, where we can track these bonds that are being created,
Mhm.
it became evident that TM had started an office structure in Creedmoor, and he is in Toluca Lake.
Yep.
And Happy Jack had also started an office in Creedmoor, and he is in Spoyton Deville. I don't know how to say it, but Spoyton Deville, in the
All
Bronx.
that. Yeah, you're right.
Spuyten Duyvil.
How do you say it?
Spuyten Duyvil.
Spuyten Duyvil?
Yeah.
Thank you. I've always wondered. So I was able to go in and scoop up property in Toluca Lake and Spuyten Duyvil and start office buildings there. So it reciprocated, and now we have a bond, and we didn't even talk to each other about it.
Yep.
So there's lots of ways it can happen.
The only reason I know how to say that is because they were a sponsor years ago, and I had to talk about that neighborhood. I had to.
No, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Spuyten Duyvil.
Yep.
Interesting.
It's so bizarre. I had I got a text from my wife at work today, so I had my phone out, and TM hits me up on Discord about Toluca Lake, and he's like, "Hey, you're in Hyde Park." I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "I'm like, yep, take care of it." I'm like, and then I'm like, "Bro, why'd you hit me on Discord? You got you text me, I'm like, he's like, I don't know. I'm never on Discord. You're just lucky. Like it popped up while I was texting with my wife. But it was just so bizarre. He decided to reach out on Discord versus we usually communicate over text. And
that's funny.
Yeah.
I think he was just on a roll because I got a message on Discord. I think he was just on a roll. He was going through the Discord Rolodex like.
While I'm here, I might as well message everyone.
Right. Potentially even a copy and paste message to everybody. Who knows?
You threw out Rolodex. One of the guys at work, he's a couple years older than me, and we always do I'm on the phone, right? But I started messing with people because if you ask, like I ask my kids, they're like, my oldest daughter, when she's on the phone, she'll be like, she does this, like I'm on the phone, because they hold the phone or she'll either do this or this. So, but I'm like, we're always like this, but the kids now are like this or this when they say they're on the phone. So I did it to a guy at work, and he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and then I hung up. He goes, well, I go, I'm on the phone. He goes, no, the phone's this. I go, when have you had a phone like this? He's like, good point.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to keep up with the kids.
Right?
Yeah, that's funny.
So trade routes.
Wow.
Okay, so this is another thing that's coming to Upland later in 2026. Fishing is coming later in 2026. I don't like that you're announcing another thing without releasing something that you've already said is coming in 2026. We got the marinas, you had the first round of boats, but it hasn't been launched. So focus on that, because this is where we've gotten to semis in 2026 from the first semi sold that never got their trailers. So and we got airplanes that don't fly, and we have plenty of things. So I love the direction the game's going, but don't announce something else before you've launched something else. Exciting, yes, trade routes. We've always speculated that, hey, move your map assets where you want them to be, move your ornament decorations where you want to be, because one day you're going to have to use transportation to move them between properties and whatever the case may be. We're speculating now, but my thought is get the boats out, get the fishing out, and then announce the trade routes. Don't put all these promises in a row. That's where I'm at with that. Mass, your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from. However, I feel like they still have to bring some sort of excitement to the game, and they have to keep the excitement level going because they still have to pay employees. They still have to provide benefits. They still have to do things for their staff. And in order to do that, you have to make money.
Get service structures every week for 36 weeks.
Right. But
Sorry.
again, that's, my feeling is that you have to keep people engaged, and you keep people engaged by keeping them excited. Now, do I think that they they shouldn't announce something unless it's close, in my opinion. Right. I think it should be closer before the announcement, but but I understand the thought process behind it. And I do think it's a good idea to get people excited about stuff. But I would like to see the window a little bit smaller as far as when the announcement comes and when the product hits the shelf.
What about you, Shaq?
Well, I totally understand what you're both saying. I don't dispute it. But if you look around and spend, time in Upland General, for example, and just kind of take the pulse of the community in general, people are getting stoked. They're getting excited. You see people that have been kind of sleeping for a while say things like Upland is getting exciting again. People are stoked for the most part. I mean, right, there's all types, but I'm seeing a lot more excitement by a lot more people. And one of the arguments I would make for announcing this stuff kind of early and saying, hey, this is coming this year, is that not everybody is a spark whale. And some of these things are going to take quite a bit of time to get office buildings built and all of these different nodes and establish the trade routes. So I would say that a little bit of early notice before it actually launches is very considerate of Upland. So those are my thoughts.
I get that, because I would roast them for not giving us enough notice that they were rolling something like this out. So good point there.
And it is a very fine line that you have to walk with that. I mean, you can be too early, you can be too late. I mean, it really is a fine line to keep people engaged. So yeah.
Yeah. No. What about you, Coach?
I look at it. I agree, I hear all y'all. I agree with all that. It's only opinions, right? But just coming out of marketing and network marketing, one of the things is you always got to be promoting something, right? And I think Upland learned a lesson from the past of over promising and under providing, right? But right now they hit their stride, so they kind of promote something enough time to get everybody excited, like Shaq said, and get them to prepare. But they also give us enough time to give themselves enough time to tweak things, right? We've been hearing about farming. That's coming still. They haven't even dropped out again. So I like how they're doing it. And it does give the players enough time to collect their resources over time before it just drops. So in closing, I think they're closer than they're letting us know. They're just preparing us.
But I was surprised how quickly they moved off of boats and marinas. You have plenty of cities that are on the water that have marina capabilities that they could have continued that hype for a while. It's just interesting. It was kind of like, here's boats, here's marinas, and then it kind of died down. Kind of like nurseries too. Nurseries were kind of hot and up and coming, and it kind of died down. and the construction hub, you know, after the contest, it just kind of fell flat. Hopefully it picks back up, but it's just, I thought they could have rode the boats and marinas a little longer and got closer to the fishing, getting fishing into the game. But as Shaq said, that this is giving us a heads up that trade routes are coming and you're going to need the bonds. And, you know, this is another way to do troves. So we've had a couple of trove announcements.
Can I share something real quick just to piggyback off of that? You made me think
Yeah,
about.
go for it.
So I think they're like setting up the playing field, right? They're letting us know we're testing this out. We gotta put this. So when everybody's talking about, okay, where are these trolls coming? When they trolls coming? What I see them doing is basically setting the foundation. So when they set the trolls off, it's going to be multiple opportunities to get trolls. You're going to be able to do it with the structure units. You could go fishing. You could go in the trade route. So when they turn it on, it will be because they told us at the beginning you can't do everything. They warned us that you can't be everywhere, you can't do everything. So when they turn this on, we're really going to see what we can't do everything is.
Yeah. Oh, dang, we're already 40 minutes in. All right. And then we have the trailers, which were announced. And now they're a new class. They're map assets. They play a crucial role in trade route system, but unlike traditional vehicle attachments, they are standalone map assets and they don't physically connect to the semi trucks or other vehicles, but they're placed at distribution centers where goods are picked up for transport. Which I find kind of weird, because if you're at a distribution center, trailers back up to the distribution gate and it loads up and a semi drives off with it. So it's strange that they're just going to park them at a distribution center where they're picked up for transit. I mean, I get it if you have it at a factory. But then I also wonder if you're able to build a distribution center where you can send stuff from multiple factories to it. I don't know. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that they call distribution centers will be commercial hubs where goods are loaded and transported between neighborhoods. And they said more on that will come in future announcements. But it says all players who own a semi-truck will receive a trailer when they become available later in 2026, giving them immediate access to trade routes. So you need these trailers for trade routes, but they don't attach to the semis, but yet they're at distribution centers. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop a little bit too. But they basically map assets, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Shaq? I love that laugh. I
Me
love that
too.
laugh.
Well, okay, well, to me, and I could be wrong, but this is just the way it kind of lands with me as I research it and listen to X1 and digest the pieces. It seems to me that, first of all, those trailers is a whole new asset class. So we should think of them separately. Yes, if you have a semi-truck, you're going to get a trailer, but I think Upland will also be selling the trailers. I think that we're going to need a lot of trailers if we have a lot of trade routes, because we're going to need to place one trailer at one distribution center on each trade route. The way I envision it is that the trade routes allow us to send our cargo vehicles, of which the semi-truck will have the biggest capacity. We'll set it out and it will automatically travel the route that we've established. And it will go through picking up troves. I'm guessing, and I don't know, but I'm guessing maybe the truck will dump the troves that it finds into the trailer at the distribution center for us to come and pick up when we're ready and then sell them or something. But it seems to me that this entire travel route thing is specifically for troves. It's for fishing for troves on the water, and it's for fishing for troves on the roadway. And to me, it's a trove game. I have not yet gotten the impression that this has anything to do with our factories or showrooms or UGC. That's just me. That's my sense. I think it's very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. You're not far off. Mass?
I actually agree with Shaq. That was my initial thought too, was that it was more a trove thing than an actual map asset thing. But I think it puts the pieces in place for it to be a map asset thing at some point, if they wanted to turn it into that. I think that allows them the access to do that if they wanted to. But
love you, city. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And that's all I heard. Semis?
Well, I mean, and I guess I kind of understand why they don't put the trailers on the truck, because it is a map asset, and there's currently the only moving parts in the game are your car moving across the map that's not really your car. It's just a little image that moves across the map. Same with the airplane. Same with I'm assuming it's going to be the same with the boat. I think the movement action is not going to change. Therefore, it's going to be impossible to attach one asset to another to move it across the map without it being that way. You know what I mean? So I get why the trailer is a map asset. I get why it's going to be parked, and I get why my imagination is going to have that trailer connected to the truck as I'm watching the little image of the car move across the country on my trade route, and dropping it at my other distribution center with my other trailer at it when it gets there. So I get it.
Yeah.
And I would like to just take a second to clarify, because this question has come up a lot. And the question was, can these trade routes, these bonds, right? If we have a bond that goes overseas, and meanwhile, we're talking about semi-trucks, right? So how is a semi-truck going to get from California to London? And it's a good point. But in the video that X1 made, he did say that these trade routes and the bonds are going to be global. But he said that certain other types of transportation might be necessary. So yes, so hopefully that clears up the confusion. We can make bonds with everyone across the globe. It is possible that we will need cargo ships and maybe cargo planes at some point. So
this is letting me know we need to put on our big folks pants and underwear, because it's about to get real with different type of service, where different type of cargo ships and things of that nature. And we seeing how these trucks is coming out now at a $1.75. Like, it's not going to get no cheaper. You know what I mean? So I honestly feel like these OGs need to wake up, or whoever's been playing need to wake up before it's too late, if they want to still move forward, because we had a short opportunity to build what we could before this got here, and it's here, and you see where it's going. Honestly, you see where it's going. So
yeah,
stay focused.
yeah.
Semi trucks, they're on sale. Well, they're not on sale yet, but register. They're going on sale. $175. They look super cool. Oh, sorry, man.
I have a question about that while we're talking about it. When you go to the store and you look at semi trucks, why is it the sale doesn't start for another 14 hours? Why does it say only 194 of 200 bundles available?
It even said it in the article.
I don't get that. What's that about?
What does it say?
It even said it in the article that 194 200 were for sale.
194 of 200 are for sale, not 200 of 200.
That's because
giving some away.
No, that's because they accidentally put them up for sale yesterday, and players grabbed some before Upland
Mm.
realized, and they removed the sale. That's
Oh, got it. Boy, I wish I was paying attention there.
right.
Anyway.
Wow. Nice. Well, not nice, but all right. Congratulations to the people that grabbed those.
Yeah, congratulations to you
Alright.
6 people.
So
It's
Way
probably
to pay
Swarley.
attention.
Swarley got one.
Way to pay attention.
So after all that they went through, all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, Sparklet store update.
Mm.
No big thing. We're just updating the Sparklet store. So, you know, really the Sparklet packages in the app, you know, we're making an adjustment. The numbers in the app will be reduced, and each package will contain 35% less Sparklet. So,
Mhm.
I mean, let's call it what it is. It you know, they tried to make it sound good on paper, but when you actually break it down, it's backwards. They cut Sparklet by 35%, and they cut the price of it. It's not the free market that you can go on and get the exchange of it. They just cut how we're accessing it in the game. They're not balancing the ecosystem. They're increasing the price in the game without increasing the price on the market. And there's no way around it. And what they're really saying is go use the exchanges, but the
Mhm.
only exchanges available, the 3 exchanges it's on, is not legal in the United States. I'm not telling you to use a VPN and go around it to get on those exchanges, but that's where and then you got to use Uniswap. You got a couple of versions of Uniswap that you can get Sparklet with, but the liquidity is not in the pools because everybody's using Sparklet in the game to build. They're using Sparklet in the game, so the liquidity is not in the pools. There's low depth to it, in my opinion, and there's just really not enough sellers. So it's a guessing game, and you know how many casual. It was nice for the casual player that your wallet's already set up in the game, that you can just buy it each week when it comes out on Wednesday. But now, if you don't have Uniswap, you got to set up a Uniswap account. You got to set up a wallet, and it's still not as easy for the casual person to do. People are just going to stop buying, and that's not what we want. And nobody wants to say that out loud. And we're not really doing a price discovery. It's more of a forced frictions. The liquid, we've only released about 27% of the Sparklet token, and that's within the plan, within the white paper, we get it. But the liquidity pool is just not there in the markets, but they're wanting us to use the market to help drive up the prices. But we're you're going to run out of the liquidity market because people want their Sparklet in game, and you have to pay your fees for using the exchanges and bridging it in game. I think this is a very, very bad move. I think they were trying to create more demand on the market, but your primary user base is in the United States and can't even use the 3 primary exchanges that it's on. You know, you have no new supply going to the pools. You're not really adding liquidity to the pools. Now you're charging people more money for less Sparklet in the game. Yeah, they have the smaller bundles in the game and the higher bundles in the app, but it's still less Sparklet. It's going to I think it's going to have a negative effect on the game, really. And I think this is overall a bad idea. It's going to be a higher cost for players, lower participation from casual players, thinner markets, more volatility, and I think it's bad overall. And that is my rant on it. You can't really call it a market manipulation, but kind of. I'm not really sure. It just doesn't feel right, smell right, or look right, in my opinion. Who wants to jump in after my rant?
Swirly wants to jump all over this, and I'm not.
Yeah, he do.
Swirly's on a rant in the chat.
You want to jump on, Swirly? Link's still the same. You got it in your Discord. I think
I'll
it's
jump in real quick and just say I don't know too much. I haven't looked at the market. I do feel that they're forcing us to go to the markets to get it there to get the better price. But I don't. I'm not aware of the liquidity and things of that nature. So I digress.
I mean,
One interesting idea is that players were using their USD to buy Sparklet and then bridge Sparklet out and sell it on an exchange, thus avoiding paying fees to Upland. So there was that they might have considered.
Mm.
and there he is, the myth, the legend
Hey,
himself,
Swirly.
Swarley.
what up, Swirly?
Afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Okay, so this is my take of this, and I've had a very different opinion to most of the community from day one about all of this. Same as when they nerfed Sparklet, everybody blew up. It's cost so much more now to build all that sort of crap. And I'm like, hey, take a step back, look at the big picture, and you'll realize that we're still much better off than what we were before the TGE. Okay, so let's start with the first assessment. We all want Upland to do well. Like, we're all here because we love Upland. We want Upland to do well, and Upland doing well means the game's doing well, which means we can keep playing. Correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Correct.
Pretty obvious. So, rising tide. Was it raising tide?
Rising tide rises all ships.
That thing, yeah. All right. So, therefore, if Upland's doing well, we as players are doing well. So, I'm not an economist. I'm not an accountant or anything like that. I just dabble in a bit of crypto, and I try and take a step back and a bigger look at the picture. Every complaint that you've been hearing from players is it's going to cost me more. It's going to make it harder for me to get it. It's going to make me. It's all about the individual player, not the game itself.
Right.
But some people hide behind, but this was not good for new players. How the fuck do you know? Are you a new, you're not a new player. You know the game. You've been playing it for well. You know where the deals are, where they aren't. A new player comes in and goes, oh, I need some Sparklet. I'll go buy it from the shop. Oh, hang on, I can go buy it cheaper from an exchange. Well, I'll go buy it from there then. That's their decision to make, not our decision to make on their behalf. So the hiding behind the, it's not good for a new player is bullshit. That's a bullshit argument. So it comes back to what you like. Yes, we've had it really good for so long. In fact, we've had it wrong for so long.
Mm.
I was not happy when Upland first announced. I love the fact that Upland now Sparklet. I think it's a great concept they brought out. It gives us the ability to sell something if we could stop playing Upland for whatever reason, to sell what we own. We couldn't do that before the TG. We just had Sparklet. You stopped playing, it was worthless. We now have an avenue to sell it if we want. So the argument against Sparklet was a load of crap and Upland should never have done it is wrong in the first place.
I never said it was.
No,
I
but
never
some
said
people
that
are.
was wrong. Okay.
Some
Okay.
people
I
are.
was trying to say.
I'm not talking about
wrong.
you. I'm just talking about in
Okay.
general what I've seen this week. And again, this is all my opinion, so people can obviously disagree with me. But okay, so the first step is Sparklet is a great move because it gives you an avenue now to be able to sell your asset, just like everything else.
Yep.
Which is what we want. Players is what we need. When Upland first released Sparklet, they went, we're going to sell it in the shop for slightly less than what it's on the market. Made no sense whatsoever because you have both the convenience of buying it within the game plus a cheaper version of it. So why would anybody ever buy it outside the game when you can get it cheaper and easier in the game?
Well, it was a 7-day average, so it could be a little higher or a little lower.
Well, it depends, but basically they said we're going to sell it slightly cheaper than what the market value is, which meant everybody was buying it from in-game, but the only place you could sell it was outside a game. So what was that going to always do to the price?
Drive it down.
Always going to drive it down. And we've seen that. Now, people have stopped selling. Thus why it's sort of sitting at that 2 cents range, and it has been for a while. People get excited. It goes up a little bit. People stop getting excited. It goes down a little bit. But there needed to be some demand for Sparklet outside the game. There always had to be. Now, Upland did we're going to raise the prices a few months back and we're going to buy some back type thing, but they were very non-transparent about that, which I wasn't happy. It was a good move, but I wasn't happy they were non-transparent. That's not a crypto way to do things. If you're doing a buyback, usually it's pretty transparent. What you're buying, how much you're buying, all that sort of stuff. So whilst it was good, I thought it was bad at the same time. Now, this maneuver from them does two things the way I see it. One, it actually doesn't force you to go out to an exchange to buy it. And to be honest, Uniswap, I'm available. I don't have any restrictions on any exchange as far as I'm aware, being in Australia. But Uniswap is still where I go because it's the easiest and best place to get it. It's not hard to do it. Anyone that complains that it's too hard, it's just because it's the first time they're doing it or they're just not practiced or whatever. It's not hard. Like it takes you 2-3 minutes, a few clicks of the button, done. Now we can discuss about why they chose Ethereum over some other chains or whatever because it's more expensive, but that's a whole nother argument. So you still have the option. Buy it in game, pay more for the convenience, buy it from the exchange, don't have the convenience, but you can get it cheaper. Pretty simple. I don't understand why people are going, oh, this is all bullshit or whatever. It's simple. Now, why would Upland want the price of Sparklet to go up?
Why wouldn't you want it to go up? It's good for everyone.
Own 800 million of them, or 80% of it. The more it's worth, the more Upland's worth.
Right.
The more powerful Upland becomes. So Sparklet tanking is not good for Upland as a whole. It's not good for the players as a whole. They need it to be bigger. If that went to $1 a Sparklet, which I know at this stage seems, fantasy, but that's $800 million just in Sparklet alone that Upland holds, roughly, give or take.
Yeah. But my question there is, what happens when the liquidity on the pool starts drying up? Because that's what the players are doing.
So when the liquidity dries up, then the prices go up.
Go up. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. That's how it works.
Right.
Now, the big red flag in this and why crypto people don't get involved in Upland or Sparklet is because Upland holds 80% of it. At any point, Upland can go, you know what, let's just dump the 80% on the market, and obviously everything gets wiped out in terms of value.
But they
which is what we see with meme coins. Now, Upland clearly isn't a meme coin. Sparklet isn't a meme coin, but that's what we see with meme coins. So crypto people are not going to look at Sparklet and go, oh, that's a good investment, because when you look at from a 10,000-foot view, as X1 likes to say, Sparklet and Trump coin look the same. They're both about 1 million or billion tokens. One holder owns 80% of them, and they're about the same price rate. Well, I don't know what the price is. I've never followed Trump coin that much. But on face value, they both look terrible. Now, we know as Upland players that Sparklet is very different from Trump coin. Very different. But people that are crypto that haven't looked into Upland. So Upland needs to get onto the stage as, we're a legit company, this is a legit coin and blah, blah, blah. And then things will change. So how will that happen? By people getting attention to Sparklet, which has been going up in price. So this move from Upland, in my opinion, is a push to get Sparklet going in the right direction, which is what they need to make their company look stronger, bigger, healthier. And us players who already own Sparklet and have been buying it at 2 cents for 2 years now, if it goes to $1, aren't you buying a new house or something?
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why players are whinging about it. It just blows my mind.
Shaq, you're on mute. Thank you, Swarley. I like your take. I like that. That resonates. Yeah.
So the first thing that players need to do, okay, it might cost you more to buy it in game now than what but the thing is, you're focusing on what we had, not what the future is. And you're going, well, I had my cake, and I did have my cake, and I was eating it too, but now they've taken the cake away from me. So we've had it good. Now Upland of tightening the belt a little bit and making it a more sustainable long-term proposition for the game. And players are like, oh, no, I don't like that. I have to pay more for it. Now, there's some players out there that don't give a flying F about what Sparklet was. The cheaper it is, the more they can buy of it. Again, narrow tunnel vision view of their own self in the game so they can get more Sparklets so they can build more. Now, the Upland have been doing it properly in the first one. And don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Upland by any stretch of the imagination. Sparklet, fantastic step in the right direction, if you've asked me, but they've dropped the ball many times in the process. The nerfing of Sparklet, which happened once and 8 months after they released it, was insufficient. It was way too slow and way too little. It should be more like the Fed increasing or decreasing interest rates. Like, it should have been happening a lot more regularly and a lot more. And we would be used to the changes if that was the case, rather than a sudden out of the blue 3x nerf. When you compare what you could build with Spark prior to the TGE to what you can build after Spark, we are way better off now than what we were then. We can build so much more. It costs so much less to build. It used to cost $2,500 just in Spark to start a meta venture like the factory. Now it costs you a couple $100.
And my point with my rant was more of just the liquidity isn't there in the pools because everybody's keeping it. The majority of people are keeping it in game to use the utility. I think Sparklet is great because of its utility,
and that's what gives it a fantastic. That's what gives it a fantastic potential future. What's the right word? That's what makes it good, is because people are going to want it. It's going to drive the price up, and people are going to need to want that. Now, Upland needs to balance the Sparklet in game. I mean, someone like myself with 500,000 Sparklet can easily build all this sort of stuff when a new player might come in and buy 1,000 and take four years to build something. Like that imbalance needs to be dealt with, and that should have been dealt with by these changes, which Upland talked about doing, saying we're going to update, the Sparklet balance every 3 months or something, which I argued was too slow. It needed to happen at least after every season. But that balance needs to keep coming in, so you can still build roughly the same amount. Like at the moment, the imbalance is ridiculous and through the roof, but that will hopefully they'll sort that out in time. But the price going up is, don't we all want that?
Yeah.
So it just needs to get that balance right. So when new players do come in and buy Sparklet, they aren't left way behind because they don't now own $500,000 worth of Sparklet, like some players might do if the price went up. But remember, if the price goes up, what are some players going to do?
Sell.
There's your liquidity.
I do want to say, I appreciate you, Swati, for coming on and jumping on and giving your opinion. And we all have opinions. We don't know which one is right. We all giving opinions, and I love the fact that we can have this discussion as adults, right? So I appreciate y'all.
I can see you're ticking over. I like that. Like, I think the first thing I think each and every player who's not happy with this decision needs to do is step back and look at how this affects the whole game, not their own game, but the whole game. And that's what I think a lot of players aren't doing.
I'm just concerned. It is all just because, you've even stated already, they still have 80%. And then the way that the white paper was structured, it's a slow release over a long period of time,
30 years or something.
Yeah. And there's and it keeps the crypto people away, and
I mean, because they don't trust it. Upland needs to get on the radar and be trusted, like a Sandbox or those other ones. So then people will go, okay, well, Upland isn't a rug pull. Upland isn't Trump coin or some other crap meme coin. Upland is legit, and Sparklet is worth investing in. And then you'll have crypto people come to it. At the moment, on face value, as I say, there's too many red flags. A crypto person is going to look at it without diving in it, not looking at what Upland is, and go, okay, first of all, the coin launched at 10 cents. It's now 2 cents. And it's been flat line at 2 cents for a long time. So that looks terrible when you zoom out on that chart.
Yeah, launched at 14.3 or
it's so lowly ranked down in all the crypto charts, being at 8 million or whatever it is USD or something. It's just not getting any attention.
Right.
The only way you turn that around, other than pumping crap loads of money into advertising, which may or may not work, is to actually have it draw attention by people going, holy crap, what's this coin that's gone up 100% in a week or a month or a year, and continuing to grow and show steady growth and improvement. And then people will start taking note and looking at what it really is. It doesn't take long for that momentum, which when it starts going, to go. But it's like pushing a truck at first. Like, it takes a hell of a lot of effort to get it going. But once it gets going, it's going to take off. I'm not saying that's what will happen. That's what I think is what we're looking at.
And I get they're hoping that people now go to the exchange to buy there to move it in game, but there's just, and that's there need, in my opinion, you needed more of a balance with liquidity for the market plus the stuff that players are using in the game, because there's two types of people. So you have the people that are playing the game, and then you have the people that are investing in it looking for growth.
Okay, well, the liquidity side of it, the people involved in the market will decide that. So when the price goes up, more people will dump their coins on the market. So the liquidity will come depending on what. I mean, at what point do you look at the price and go, oh crap, I've got 200,000-300,000 of this. I don't need 50,000. I'll go and pull out some money. And then there's your liquidity. Now, in terms of in-game imbalance, yeah, it's woefully out. It has been ever since the TGE, because Upland have refused to almost, like I said, almost treat it like the Fed, where they keep tinkering with the rate, like depending on what the price is. There should have almost been some sort of balance, right? The price is here. This is how strong it is in game. They've never done that. So at the moment, its strength in game compared to its price is way over strength. Way over strength. Because they've never when they did that nerf of 3x, people blew up and went, what the F?
Oh yeah.
But you know how much weaker it was, or how much stronger it was? It was 27 times different at that moment in time to what it was before the TGE. So you could do 27 times more with that one spark or 1,000 sparklet than you could, or a million, whatever it is, than you could before the TGE. 27. So they needed to nerf it 27 times to bring it back on parity, which they obviously didn't do. But everybody was blowing up at 3, and then they went, "Oh, we better not touch this," because everyone got all upset. Like, instead of doing what they initially said and going, "We're going to rebalance this after every quarter or every season or whatever," it's what they should have been doing and still should be doing. But we've seen one rebalance and everyone blew up.
I have a question, Joe. Are you going to the exchange to buy your sparklet now, or are you just going to take 35% less?
I've always bought mine on the exchange. 2 reasons. One, being in Australia, everything happens at 3 a.m. So it's hard for me to get sparklet in-game anyway, because especially when it was popular, it sold out before I woke up, especially the $300 pack stuff. I have bought them in the past, but no, the vast majority of my sparklet I've bought from exchanges, either BitGet when that was a thing, or now Uniswap. And that's the other thing. So there's 2 ways, my understanding, and again, I could be wrong on this, that you end up on a proper exchange. Obviously, Uniswap's a decentralized exchange. Anyone can do anything there. But to end up on a proper exchange like BitGet or Binance, and the big one would be Coinbase, to get your coin on there, it costs a fuck ton of money. Bottom line, like Upland would have to pay Coinbase to get it on there. Other way to get on there is for Coinbase to go, crap, we're missing out on all this revenue by not having that coin on our exchange.
Yep.
They're the 2 ways to get it. Okay, Upland aren't going to fork out the crap loads of money or give up a huge percentage of their token to Coinbase to get that recognition or whatever. So the other alternative is to grow it, get that volume happening, and then people some exchanges will start to take notice. And then when exchanges start to go, "Oh, we're missing out on," and we're talking a long way down the track here, because you need to be sort of in that top 100 sort of range, and I think last time I looked at 2,500. So we're a long way from catching the eye of exchanges, but it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So we need this volume on the exchanges, or otherwise it's all pointless.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, crypto is still weird for the casual gamer in the United States. That's my concern too. That's my concern too.
I get that. And some people like to think, well, you don't need to know anything about crypto to play this game. It's all done in-house. Also, yeah, great. Awesome. It is. And it still is. Yeah. You can still buy your crypto. You can still buy your sparklet in-game. Nothing's changed. But now you're paying for the convenience of buying it in-game as opposed to not. Like, there's a benefit to doing it in-game. There's a benefit for not doing it in-game. Like, choose which method you want and go with it. Like, I don't see what the problem is.
Part of the reason that I can see timing-wise, why they're doing this now is don't you think that Upland is planning and expecting for the user base, for the numbers to explode as they roll out these new game loops? And we don't want to have a whole bunch of new players come in and get instantly used to just having all of the sparklet available in game. So for all of these new users that hopefully are going to be coming, they can buy, a little $5 pack or $10 pack of sparklet here and there to do the little basic things they need to do. But then for those that, become, fall in love with Upland like we did and decide to stay and decide to build their empire, we don't want to be taking something away from a whole bunch of new players. So better to take it away now and have all of us, go ahead and use our wallets.
So you're 100% right, Shaq. If Upland had done this from day one, if it had been this set up from day one, nobody would have said boo. The problem is we've had it for 18 months this way, and everyone wants to keep it this way, and it's not sustainable. It doesn't work. Yeah. The volume on exchanges just doesn't exist. That's probably why we lost BitGet, because no one was going there to buy it because they just get it from in-game. So BitGet was like, well, we're going to pay. Like, Upland would have had to pay BitGet in the first place, and nobody was going to get to buy it, like maybe me and a few other people, but the vast majority were just buying it in game. And then Upland continued to increase how much they were selling in game over time to meet the demand.
But
Yeah.
once
Yeah, I
again,
actually-
the US player couldn't get on BitGet unless you used a VPN.
Okay, well, that's a whole different argument. Let's not go down that road because, but again, you still had Uniswap, so it went both ways.
You still had Uniswap. No,
I was used to buying. I was getting used to buying Sparklet on Uniswap or MetaMask, and then bridging it into the game. And I got lazy and spoiled when Upland started selling it in game.
Yes.
So yeah, you
Yeah.
just have to go back to the way it was, and don't be lazy and spoiled.
I guess this is what I wasn't able to what I've been trying to articulate with my whole argument is the sales in game was putting a steady increase in the amount of tokens out there on the market. It was putting a steady increase. I think it's going to reduce the amount of tokens on the market, and which will drive the price up, which is good for all of us. But is there going to come to a point here in the near future when you're really going to have a big pump because there's not enough liquidity coming into the market from in-game because people don't want to pay the 35% reduction, and Upland holds 80% of the tokens, and there's a 30-year release plan around it. I guess that's what I was trying to articulate was
but that's where you're missing the point, I think. So yes, if you've got 500,000 Sparklet and then the price starts to go up something stupid, you have way more Sparklet. Assuming they do rebalance it like they're supposed to, you've got way more Sparklet than you'll ever need because you've got $1 million worth of Sparklet. I'm just throwing a number out there.
Yeah.
So you're going to sell some. So there's your liquidity for other players who don't have any to get them because the balance, like you could build like 5,000 structures at once with $500,000 worth of Sparklet if the balance is right. So you don't need all that Sparklet, so it needs to be rebalanced. Now, Upland have got the 80% or whatever, but they've got a white paper that says it's going to take 30 years to have all that come out. They could change it anytime. Yeah, no doubt they could. But there is a vesting schedule for that. So what there currently is in the market and how it's going to grow over the 30 years is set. We know how much there is. The market will set that price and the balance will happen. So if it went up in price, you'll sell a bit, somebody else will buy a bit, and that balance will happen. It just has to happen in game too in terms of its strength for building structures. So right now, if you had 500,000 Sparklet, you could probably build 5 apartment buildings at once. There, give or take. But if Sparklet went up 10 times as much, well, then you should only need 1/10 of what you currently have to do the same in game.
City has a
Make
point.
any sense? This is what the nerfing was supposed to be about when Upland talked about doing it and they never did it.
Right.
Or they did it once. So if you could almost do it like it cost me X amount of dollars worth of Sparklet to build an apartment building. So right now the price is at 2 cents. It's going to cost me this much to build it. If the price went up by 10x, then it should be nerfed by 10 times. So it's cost me, or if the price went up by 10x, it should be increased 10 times. So therefore I only need 1/10 to do the same amount. In which case you'll go, well, I don't need the other 90%. I'll sell that, buy a new car, and keep building what I'm building. And then the price comes down, and you go, well, now I need more. I'll go back and buy some, which means you'll be individually helping the price go back up again. The liquidity will come from the players, what's out there on the market already.
I'm going to stay skeptical. and that's my opinion, but you do make good points, Swarley, but there's still just something I can't articulate it. There's just something sitting in the back of my mind.
The big gray area,
sitting in the back of my mind that's just something seems off to me.
There's one huge big caveat to all of this is the strength of Sparklet in game, which at the moment has just been set at what they've set it at, and it's way over strength compared to what it was before the TGE. That strength of the Sparklet in-game is still way stronger than it needs to be. And if the price goes up a fair bit, well, then that'll start to balance out. And once it goes ridiculously high, like way past 10 cents, then it needs to go the other way. Where instead of being nerfed, it needs to be strengthened. So therefore, you need less sparklet to do what you're currently doing if the price went up high enough.
Oh
That's
my
the big
gosh, that would be
caveat.
a dream come true.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
why. Okay, so you're sitting there with 500,000 sparklet, and you can still just say the price went to 50 cents. So 25 times what it's priced now. You could do 25 times as much if they changed the amount of the strength of sparklet in game than you can currently do at the moment, because it's in correlation to the price. Which means, okay, if I can do 25 times as much, I can't handle this too much. I can't build 50,000 structures a week. It's stupid. I'm going to sell some, buy a new car, and then keep building. And then the price goes down because everybody's selling. Well, now I need to get more because I can't do as much as I was doing. So now I need to go buy some more. But the big caveat is Upland needs to rebalance sparklet in line with its price. And if that doesn't happen, the strength of sparklet in game, it needs to be correlated to its price. Otherwise, which is what they were trying to do, or said they were going to do from day one. It just never really happened.
They did say they would do it, throughout the as the growth goes.
They said once a quarter, so they said once a quarter, every 3 months, and I argued no, it wasn't enough. Like, it needed to happen a hell of a lot more. I don't understand why it couldn't have happened on a monthly type basis, but at least at the end of each season. Again, they took 8 months to do the first one. Everyone whinged, and then they haven't touched it since. I think they're too scared.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been up 3 months.
People won't whinge when it goes the other way. Sparklet price went up, and then they increase its strength. So instead of nerfing it by 3x, they increase it by 3x. People won't whinge then.
Maybe it's coming up now because they're giving us more stuff to build. So, and he's doing this now. So hopefully they adjust it soon. They need to.
But I haven't seen them announce anything in relation to adjusting its strength ever since that one time. I haven't had. That's a year ago now, I think. There's been no
Maybe they
mention
sneak
of
it in the next one.
I think something about we're going to leave it alone for now, I think was the comment at that time, and that's 12 months ago. We haven't heard boo since. But maybe that's coming. Maybe with this sparklet change, and once people sort of digest it and sort of get over it and stop being upset about it, then maybe they will start to look at that, and that'll be the next bit of pain that players will get. Because at the moment, sparklet is still way over strength than what it should be.
So I don't understand, John Fitzwell. If the amount of sparklet sold in the game is always going to be whatever they said, 35% more expensive, or it's not, how is it going to level out? Because whatever is on the exchange, it's going to be different in game. I don't understand.
No, I don't understand the level out. It'll always be 35. If I understand what Upland are doing correctly, in-game will always be 35% more expensive. And that's the convenience tax, as I like to try and say. You don't have to worry about MetaMask and all that sort of other garbage. And that's fine if you're buying a small amount. You probably, like if you're buying $5, it probably doesn't matter that you're getting 35% less. Because if you went and bought $5 on an exchange, it'll probably cost you more than that in fees just to get it into the game. But if you're buying $5,000 worth of it, well, you're going to want to do that in the exchange because you'll end up with a lot more sparklet.
I think people are going to buy it when they need to merge stuff, the uppies and stuff, to hurry up. You won't have to, bring it for the exchange. But it depends on the need and how much.
Yeah. And well, hopefully, with all this burning of sparklet that people are doing now, that will increase the demand for sparklet.
Not burning, spending, not burning.
Well, yeah.
Let's keep it saying what it is. It's spending. It's not going nowhere.
Well, it's gone from your account and into the black hole of who knows when we'll know exactly what happens with it.
No, thank you for jumping on, Swarley. Really appreciate your insights. I'm
good to see you as always, sir.
Great to have a talk with you. Sorry
to be here, but yeah, as I said, I have very strong opinions about sparklet, and I like to look at it from the 10,000-foot view and not my own individual account view.
And that's where I wasn't looking at it from my individual account view. I was just thinking I wasn't thinking next week, next month. I was thinking I was trying, and they can definitely adapt as situations change, but I was just trying to wrap my head around it, and it's still weird to me.
Yeah, well, it's not something simple to understand, and again, I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying to make my assessment of what I see, what's going on. But I would say the vast majority of players currently playing already have more than enough sparklet they'll ever need, especially if the price does drive up, because people are forced to go buy it on the exchange, and there's not a lot of liquidity on the exchange. So if the price does go up, you're already going to have more sparklet than you need. And what you can build, if they do rebalance it ever, will just get stronger and stronger. So one day you look at it and go, I've got way more sparklet than I need. Way, way, way more. And that day will be different for every single player.
I don't think I'll ever have enough sparklet.
When you're looking at a sparklet balance that, you know, $1 worth of, you know, X amount, and go, I can buy a new car or something like that, you just might do that.
That's true.
So, and that number is different for every player. So it's not like we're all going to exit on the same day and go, oh, I hit a certain. I mean, there might be a price like 50 cents. People might have that in sight and go, right, that's the price I want to sell at. Awesome. Yeah. So it's those sort of figures, or $1 would be another one, would make a huge difference. But generally speaking, we're all at different balances. We've got different ideas, different wants, or whatever. And if you need less sparklet in the game because the price goes up and therefore it becomes stronger in game, then you will sell some of your excess sparklet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
So we don't need necessarily more of it from Upland in the community, because if they did, that would just make the price come down. We need the community to trade it more, whether it be Upland players or crypto people.
The community needs to feel that they have excess sparklet to put it on the exchange, is where I'm driving at too. You know, you either need the community to put their excess sparklet on the exchange, and you also need to make the token attractive to
how
the
do you
crypto
how do you
people.
get sparklet on the exchange? You send the price up.
Correct.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Awesome. No, thank you so much. Love your insights, Swirly. Always enjoyed talking with you. Mass, do you have anything before we get out of here this week?
All good. Don't forget racing tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific. We will see you on the track. Should be a ton of fun.
And we doing Saturdays still?
We have one more Saturday left on the track live, 9 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. That'll be our Frost season finale. Come hang out with us and take some of CP's well-earned upics after after his winnings.
Shaq, you got anything?
Oh, just much love to everyone. And I personally am super, super excited. So I hope everyone else is too. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah. Coach.
I'm talked out, man. Thanks for showing up, talking with us. Thanks for having me.
Not something you usually hear Coach say.
Right? He's never talking. He always wants to talk to people.
Oh, that's how we plan, Chef. That's how we plan. I got you.
Love you, brother.
I love you back. I love you back.
Swarley, you got anything?
Well, the rocket ship's on the launch pad. The engines are firing. We're waiting for liftoff. Let's see what happens next.
Right.
One way or the other, something exciting is going to happen in the next, 6-12 months' time.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And if you want to talk after the show, we'll be backstage there, Swarley. Everybody be safe, have fun, and we'll see you next week.